Hi there. This is Sally's Book Club, where we dive into the world's best books every single day. Today we're exploring the book Thinking Fast and Slow. The title itself reveals this is fundamentally about how we think. Let's face it, thinking, judging, and making decisions are what we do most every single day. But here's the kicker. We think we're in control of our minds, but actually make irrational choices way more often than we realize. This book teaches us the brain's basic operating system to help make wiser decisions. Oh, about the author Daniel Kahneman, Princeton professor, 2002 Nobel Economics winner. Interesting twist. He's a psychologist, and this is pure psychology. Wait, how does a psychology expert bag an economics Nobel? Simply put, his research transcended psychology and reshaped economic thinking. Economics 101 assumes rational actors, people always seeking maximum benefit with minimum cost. But Kahneman found real people make irrational calls most of the time. Picture this. One set has 5 perfect plates, another has 6 with 1 broken. Rationally, both sets should be equally priced, right? But reality? People pay way less for the damaged set. That single broken plate just feels wrong. This is just one example of how his ideas revolutionized economics through thinking, fast and slow. The book crystallizes Kahneman's most groundbreaking insights. The Economist compares its impact to Darwin's evolution and Copernican theory. Through academic rigor, Kahneman unveils an astonishing world of human cognition. Today, we'll explore 4 key concepts from the book. First, understanding the 2 systems of thinking, fast versus slow. Part 2, what intuition flaws emerge from our brain's operating modes. Part 3, how to avoid these intuition traps for rational decision-making. Part 4, how to harness brain mechanics to enhance life experiences. Okay, let's start with the first question. What exactly are fast and slow thinking? They represent 2 cognitive systems in our brain. After years of research, Daniel Kahneman discovered our brain operates through 2 distinct systems. He named them System 1, fast thinking, automatic, effortless cognition, and System 2, slow thinking, deliberate reasoning, like instantly recognizing facial expressions or sudden sounds. That's System 1 at work. System 2 handles complex stuff, like learning new skills or deep analysis. The book title directly references these 2 thinking systems. Let's try this classic puzzle to understand them better. If a bat and ball cost 11 total, with the bat 10 more than the ball, how much does the ball cost? The intuitive answer most people blurt out? $1. But slow down and calculate properly. That answer doesn't add up. If the ball were $1, the $10 more expensive bat would be $11, totaling $12. The correct answer? Ball. $0.5. Bat. $10.5. Got it now? Don't feel bad if you got it wrong. Even Ivy League students struggle with this. When you answered instantly with $1, that was System 1's fast thinking. When you started calculating carefully, that's System 2 kicking in. Now that we understand both systems, which system do we use more often, do you think? The answer might surprise you. Despite valuing rationality, our brain's MVP is actually fast thinking. So why is this the case? Here's the kicker. Thinking burns serious mental calories. Our limited energy reserves make us instinctively choose the path of least resistance, avoiding mental effort whenever possible. From an energy conservation perspective, System 1's efficiency becomes crystal clear. To minimize daily cognitive load, System 1 creates mental shortcuts through accumulated life experiences, like autopilot routines for dressing, brushing teeth, commuting. System 1 turns these into automatic processes. Ever flinch when something flies at you? That's System 1's protective instinct kicking in. System 1 also handles basic relational judgments in real time. This room feels bigger, or they're about the same age, minus quick assessments we make effortlessly. System 1 never sleeps. It's always running in the background. This means System 1 always gets first dibs on processing information. System 1 thinks it can handle a task. System 2 never even gets activated. This is the root of human irrationality we keep mentioning. Only complex problems trigger System 1 to call in System 2 for backup. But System 2's reliability comes at a cost. Compared to System 1, System 2 is like a power-hungry supercomputer draining our limited attention. The famous invisible gorilla experiment perfectly illustrates this. Students watched basketball footage while counting passes, completely missing the moonwalking gorilla. When asked post-experiment, none noticed the costumed primate in their midst. How could they miss something so obvious? The answer reveals our cognitive limitations. Because when students engage System 2 for counting, their intense focus blocks peripheral awareness. Everything else gets filtered out. Imagine leisurely walking outside when suddenly your boss calls demanding your presentation plan for tomorrow's meeting. You'll notice your pace unconsciously slowing. Moving faster would disrupt your mental calculations. This mental load activates System 2's problem-solving mode. When mental fatigue hits, System 2 disengages. Control reverts to System 1. Fast thinking regains behavioral dominance. Now to our second issue, the hidden costs of fast thinking. What cognitive traps does this mental wiring create? First trap, the comfort illusion of cognitive ease. When System 2 isn't engaged, we default to comfortable familiarity and uncritical trust, like initially distrusting a tough-looking colleague, then warming up through repeated exposure. Psychologists call this the mere exposure effect. Familiarity breeds liking. Compare unity ensures success to the Chinese proverb, Ren Shen Qiu Tai Shan Yi, united will move mountains. The proverb's vivid imagery creates instant cognitive resonance. Cognitive ease lowers our defenses, making us dangerously uncritical. We might impulse buy because of pretty packaging, dismiss valid reports due to poor typography, or gamble savings on risky stocks because a friend said so. All cognitive ease pitfalls. After rare events, we develop false familiarity. This happened before, no big deal. Like the author's vacation encounter with John. Shocking first time, mundane when repeated weeks later. John became that guy I randomly meet. Cognitive ease distorting probability perception. When System 2 gets lazy like this, we need to be extra cautious. All right, let's dive into the second trap, the substitution switcheroo. Remember how System 1 sucks at solving complex problems? Instead of passing tough questions to System 2, System 1 replaces them with easier substitutes, answering those instead, like asking, is he a good person? Becomes, has he been nice to me? More, how much would you donate to save dolphins? Becomes, how angry does dolphin hunting make you feel? We constantly fool ourselves this way, breathing all sorts of biases. This substitution game creates psychological effects, like stereotyping. Stereotypes, judging whole groups by limited traits, like assuming tattooed people must be uneducated. Or those regional stereotypes we see online. People from X are hot-headed, Y folks are penny pinchers. All classic examples of mental shortcutting. Enabling beats actual understanding. System 1's favorite cheat code. This substitution also creates the halo effect. Halo effect. Letting one good trait color entire perception, like assuming great speaker equals competent manager, or trusting a decision because the report looked professional. Substitution traps make us mistake fragments for wholes. We swap probability with personal experience, often at great cost. Third cognitive trap, anchoring effect. The anchor here works like a ship's anchor, but how? Let me illustrate with an example. The author conducted a fascinating experiment once. She created a numbered wheel from 1 to 100, asking students to spin it randomly. The wheel was rigged. Students only landed on 10 or 65. When later asked to estimate African nations' UN representation, 10 spinners guessed 25%, 65 spinners guessed 45%. Clearly, the random numbers anchored their judgments. This is the anchoring effect in action. Anchoring permeates daily life more than we realize. Take two kanji shops with equal traffic but different sales. The successful one asks, one egg or two after serving. The other just asks, one eggs? Here's question anchors customers on quantity choice. Second question anchors on binary yes or no decision. Different anchors equals different sales outcomes. That's anchoring's invisible power. New product positioning, surround it with luxury items, and high pricing feels justified. Place it next to cheap goods, quality becomes questionable. Even our social associations anchor others' perceptions. Now, the framing trap, anchoring sophisticated cousin. System 1 believes what it sees. Missing contextual framing. Identical problems framed differently lead to different choices, like the miser drowning while haggling over rescue costs. The rescuer yells from shore, "Give me your hand, I'll pull you up!" But the miser stubbornly refuses to extend his hand. The rescuer suddenly realizes and shouts, "Take my hand, grab it now." The miser immediately grabs the rescuer's hand. This joke perfectly demonstrates the framing trap. Identical realities framed differently create distinct perceptions. Compare 90% survival rate after surgery versus 10% mortality rate post-operation. Same statistics, different emotional responses. Framing matters. This exposes loss aversion psychology within framing effects. Research shows losses hurt twice as much as equivalent gains. Please. Loss-framed messages trigger stronger rejection instincts. Gas station A, $6 per gallon with $1 cash discount. Gas station B, $5 per gallon with $1 credit card surcharge. Identical final price, different psychological framing. Most prefer station A. Discount framing feels like winning. Surcharge framing activates loss aversion mechanisms. Smart marketers emphasize gains rather than avoiding losses. We're constantly manipulated by these psychological levers. 4 cognitive traps: ease, substitution, anchoring, framing. Completely avoiding System 1 errors is nearly impossible. For critical decisions, consciously engage System 2 analysis. Now let's explore practical strategies for rational decision-making. I've distilled 3 key methods. Legendary investor Charlie Munger advises, to find happiness, first understand paths to misery and avoid them. Similarly, our first rational decision-making strategy, avoid those cognitive traps we discussed. Combat the comfort illusion by seeking diverse perspectives before decisions. For substitution switcheroo, visualize worst-case scenarios to identify mental shortcuts. Against anchoring, treat all initial numbers as potential anchors. Consciously analyze with System 2. Harness framing effects strategically. Create favorable decision contexts. When delivering big good news with minor bad news, present together to dilute negativity. Conversely, separate major bad news from minor good news to preserve positive impact. Second strategy, cultivate probabilistic thinking. Base decisions on statistical likelihoods, not gut feelings, though counterintuitive. Example, plane crashes make headlines, but trains statistically riskier. Rational choice remains flying. 2 probability thinking essentials. 1. Question rarity. Single question quotation. What's the actual probability of this occurring? 2. Remember regression to the mean. Regression to the mean. Extreme deviations tend toward historical averages. It applies to stock markets, weather patterns, athletic performance. Don't get cocky with occasional success or discouraged by setbacks. Track long-term trends. Final strategy. Convert mental accounting to economic accounting. This method revolutionizes financial decision-making. Mental accounts are psychological categories. Economic accounts reflect real transactions, like getting excited over 5 yuan WeChat red packets but indifferent to physical cash gifts. Economically identical, yet psychologically different. Psychologists tested losing 200 won phone card versus concert ticket before show. Most still attended after losing phone card, but skipped when needing to repurchase tickets. Same 200 yuan loss, different mental accounting. Economic accounting strips emotional bias. Analyze numbers coldly. Like, choosing daily taxes over car ownership seems extravagant, but actually economical. Most misunderstand until calculating parking, gas, maintenance costs. 3 anti-bias methods covered. Now, understanding brain mechanics' broader applications. Beyond rational decisions, this knowledge enhances life experiences. Research shows experience evaluation depends on peak end moments. This evaluation influences subsequent decisions. He called it the peak end rule. Kahneman conducted the famous ice water experiment. Volunteers submerged hands in chilly water with mild pain. First trial, 60-second immersion followed by immediate removal. Second trial, after 60 seconds, warm water flowed in for 30 seconds, easing discomfort. Water temperature rose slightly, providing partial relief. When choosing which trial to repeat, 80% chose the 90-second version with better ending. Final comfort colored their entire experience memory. This mirrors how we perceive life experiences. Kahneman proposed two selves: the remembering self that distorts reality through highlight reel memories, and the experiencing self that lives in real time but can't form lasting memories. Our decisions rely on the remembering self's edited narrative, like dismissing a great movie for its bad ending, or labeling a marriage failed due to divorce, ignoring its joyful moments. We prioritize life's finale over its journey. To enhance life experience quality, consciously create peak end moments within your means, like allocating extra budget for the final day of a budget trip. This way, when recalling your vacation, the happy memories feel more intense. We must also recognize how often our remembering self takes the wheel. When life disappoints, activate your experiencing self to objectively recall past joys. Today, we've explored Daniel Kahneman's Nobel winning psychology masterpiece. The core question: why are humans fundamentally irrational? We've addressed this through four key perspectives. Part 1: Brain's dual systems. System 1, fast, versus System 2, slow. System 1's energy efficiency dominates decisions, but sacrifices accuracy. This biological shortcut explains humanity's irrational tendencies. Part 2 detailed four cognitive traps: ease, substitution, anchoring, framing. Part 3 solutions: trap avoidance, probabilistic thinking, economic accounting. Finally, harnessing peak end effect through experiencing self-awareness. Hope this book helps you make wiser choices. That's our take on thinking fast and slow. Check the notes below. See you tomorrow.